The Alhambra in Granada. My name's Juan and today I'm taking you to one of the most visited landmarks in Europe. The Alhambra is located in the provincial capital of Granada in Andalusia in the south of Spain. And it is just not a single building but rather an entire palace and fortress complex. It sits high above Granada on a hill overlooking the entire city and also Sierra Nevada, which is often snow covered, especially in spring and winter, creating an incredible view and atmosphere. The Alhambra consists, broadly speaking, of three main areas. The Alcazaba, which is the fortress, the oldest part of the complex and used as a military stronghold to control the city. Then the Nasrid Palaces, which are the heart of the Alhambra and the royal residence of the rulers back then. And the Generalife basically was designed as a retreat. These are the three main areas people usually refer to when talking about the Alhambra. And we're going to take a closer look of them now. There's still some structures in the middle, the Palace of Charles V. This is particularly not a part of the Alhambra, even though it's in the area. It was constructed later after the Christians gained control over complete Spain again, and they built this I think 1 century after the fall of Granada. So how do you actually get into the Alhambra? First of all, you need a ticket. I've made a separate video just about that. One very important thing is to avoid fake or unofficial websites. Tickets usually cost, depending on category and whether Nasrid Palaces are included or not more than around 25 euros. Anything beyond that is very likely overpriced or not official or a scam. Even with a guide, you can book that guide on location for a lot less. So yeah. I will put the correct link in the description below. If you want to visit Nasrid Palaces, you should plan ahead, ideally around 8 weeks in advance to be really safe. Otherwise, you might still get tickets on shorter notice depending on the season for the rest. But if you want to include the palaces, book early. You will arrive at the parking area where you can easily park. Alternatively, you can take a cab or taxi from the city, but parking there is usually the easiest option. From there, it's just a short walk to the entrance and visitor center. You will find both official and unofficial guides. And there's also an audio guide available which you can download in advance in different languages. There's also a recommended route through the Alhambra. I personally often do it the other way around, but generally it's recommended to start at the fortress, move through the palaces and finish at the Generalife. That way you minimize elevation changes and follow a logical flow, if you want to say it like that. Intuitively, many people head to the Generalife first, like I do. It seems more closer and inviting, but the official route is actually structured differently. You can lock away your stroller in the visitor center or around that area. You can take a backpack if you want to. In the palaces, you have to put the backpack in front of you. And there's also some kiosks available and washing rooms and so on. So there's also a different route for people which have problems walking, like older people or wheelchairs or so. After entering, you will walk through a beautiful tree-lined path and the route splits to the right towards the Generalife and straight ahead or to the left to the rest of the Alhambra. As I said, I most likely go to the Generalife first because it's very intuitive. The Generalife is a very special part of the Alhambra for me because it feels completely different from the rest. It is slightly separated and has more of a retreat-like atmosphere, if you want so. Possibly used for guests or envoys, or ambassadors, but definitely like a summer residence, a place to escape from everyday life. The name Generalife comes from the Arabic and roughly means garden of knowing one or garden of knowledge, I think. And yeah, before you reach the palace area, you will walk through large garden spaces. It feels like a mix of relaxation, shaded greenery, almost botanical gardens. Between the Generalife and the Alhambra, there's also a hillside that was historically used for agriculture and research possibly. The centerpiece here is the Patio de la Acequia, the court of the water channel. A long pool runs through the entire courtyard, surrounded by fountains, geometric layouts, and perfectly designed gardens. Water is constantly flowing, and there is even a documentary about the water system of the Alhambra. It's really incredible how they managed to bring water all up the way here. So there's a river below, plus meltwater from the Sierra Nevada in the winter month, or summer months if you want to speak so. And it's really impressive, so yeah, check that. Like the presence of water everywhere is no coincidence. There's like also the stairs where they pump the water up and then it flows down again like you see here. And yeah, in the garden culture of that time, water symbolized life, purity and paradise, and of course it also provided cooling, which is a huge advantage in Andalusia and especially during the summer, which it can be really hot here. these footages basically from March, but in May you can easily have 36 degrees Celsius. As you walk through here, you quickly realize that absolute masters of their craft back there were at work. So what I personally find fascinating is that the Generalife is located a little bit above the main Alhambra complex. That means you can get an incredible view of the entire site from here. And after that you head back towards the center of the complex, and that's where we're going to reach the Alcazaba. So first of all, you go through medium area here. It's like another park area and garden area, like Medina. I think there's the defense wall, and there were also handymen working there, I think, and living there. But yeah, in between this or after this area, you will receive a checkpoint, basically. If you want to go back in, you have to show your ticket. If you want to go out, nothing happens. That is because here's an open area where you can reach the Alcazaba, Palacios Nasarices, and the Palace of Charles. This is also a location which you can easily reach from downtown or the old town part. You just walk up the hill and come here. This is also where you go when you want to visit the Nasrid Palaces at night, for example. So this area is accessible without tickets for the Alhambra. That's why you have to show the tickets again if you want to enter the Nasrid Palaces or the fortress. Okay, so this area you see right here is basically available to everyone. For me, I go into the Alcazaba right now, to the fortress. The name comes from the Arabic Al-Kashab, possibly completely wrong pronounced, sorry for that. It means citadel or fortified place, and that's exactly what it is. Massive walls, towers, and a clear focus on function rather than beauty. As soon as you walk through it, you immediately feel the difference compared to the other areas. Everything is more robust, simpler, and pretty raw, actually. No playful decorations or tiles, just stone and structure. So one of the key spots is here the Torre de la Vela, the watchtower. And as you see here, before we continue, that's where the Alhambra got its name from. It means the red, because of the tone they use here is pretty red. So, and the Alhambra looks red at the evening. So this is on top of the Torre de la Vela, the watchtower. From here you get one of the best views over Granada, the Vega Plain, and on clearly days all the way to the Sierra Nevada. It was a strategic point where enemies could be spotted easy and early. The Alcazaba itself dates back to the 9th century, and its origins was expanded by the Nasrids in the 13th century. It basically formed the military backbone of the entire complex, and there used to be a fully military quarter here, like a small town in the fortress, with housing, storage, and even a bath, everything you need for defense as well. Today, mostly the foundations, as you see, remain, but you still get a strong sense of how it once functioned. Earlier, Alhambra means or comes from the red one, and as you see here, it's just the red fortress. In the evening hours, you can really tell why. So yeah, it's basically iron-rich materials and the rammed earth construction. So from there you can continue to walk back to the basically main area or central area where the Palace of Charles V is located in, and here you immediately notice this doesn't really fit in. The palace was commissioned in the 16th century or constructed by Charles or Carlos V after the Christian reconquest of Granada. He wanted to make a clear statement, I guess, of power and presence, but it doesn't really fit in. Also, you don't need a ticket, or you don't need like a specific, you don't need to pay to see the place. So, and yeah, as you enter, you can instantly see what happened. Instead of delicate ornamentation, you get a massive stone facade, clear lines, and a huge circular courtyard. It's more likely typical Renaissance, actually, I think, but completely different from the rest of the Alhambra, maybe because it doesn't belong to it. Yeah, it's like a shift of feel, but I think it's also cool to see because it also tells the history of the whole area, and it is a really nice contrast. Talking about contrast, the Nasrid Palaces feel much more intimate. You can take a look at them at night, so you can book a night visit, but you will only see half of it because they cut off after the palace, and the palace itself has a separate garden. So here's the entrance to the Nasrid Palaces. You will have to go to a basically security check with your bag. And if you haven't understood it until then, this is the point where you will understand why the Alhambra is considered one of the most impressive sites in Europe. and the interior rooms are just impressive. When you look up, you see incredible complex ceilings, and it is just the level of detail is crazy. Every column, every ceiling is decorated. Every wall basically tells a story, literally. And then you have the luxury here lies really in the craftsmanship, not even the materials. This is a look at night. As I said, if you visit it at night, you will only see the palace and not the garden related to it. But yeah. Then we have the Patio de los Leones, which is one of the most famous spots, if not in Spain, but at least in the Alhambra. A courtyard with a fountain supported by 12 lions, surrounded by columns and arcades and everything on marble ground, which is crazy. Other than that, I can just highly recommend you to take your time here, because even on the third visit you will always see something new. It's really good. There's also the Patio de las Arrayanes, the Court of the Myrtles. Here you can see that the architecture is reflected in the water, intentionally used to make everything bigger and more basically large. There's also gardens there attached to it, but that's about the Nasrid Palaces, and that's it. Yeah, I've been there multiple times, and everything I was noticing something new. It's just worth any visit, I think. Take your time. Afterwards, you can walk down from the area around the Palace of Charles V into the old town, or head to the Mirador San Nicolás. From there you get one of the best views of the Alhambra. And don't worry about the way back, you can just take a cab or taxi for just 15 euros from the old town to the parking lot of the Alhambra. All in all, I can definitely recommend spending more than one day in Granada. For the Alhambra itself, at least half a day. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate your feedback, comments, and of course a subscription. English is my second language, so I hope it wasn't too bad. Actually, third language. So yeah, if you have anything I could do better, or if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. I will be happy to answer. That's it for now. Have a great time at the Alhambra in Granada, and as I said, anything you have, leave it in the comment section. Take care.